Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SimRacing Bible. I hope you're doing well. It's the weekend, and we are back in Automobilista 2 once again. So today we're going to be doing a first drive of the latest release candidate update for Automobilista 2, which contains a couple of nice pieces of additional content, which I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to seeing this evening. So let's get some lights on, shall we? Right, so we're going to jump into the sim, we're going to test them out, we're going to give them a drive, see what they think, and yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be good. We have one particular piece of content which I think a lot of people have been very much looking forward to, and one that was a little bit of a surprise. So let's jump in, find out what we've got to work with this evening. So I hope you are doing well. The guys are already here, ready to go. Personic's here. Welcome, Personic. Welcome, Raymond. Norman, welcome. Marty's here. Great to see you all with us this evening. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend so far. Right, let's get over into the sim now and see where we end up starting off for the evening. So I'm just going to do a quick test day. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the surprise element of our update for this month, and that is, of course, the Formula Inter, which is a Brazilian series, I believe, which is one that's been around in the past, but is now being reintroduced and is going to feature as like a stepping stone onto the single-seater ladder from karting into car racing, basically. So yeah, a little bit of an interesting single-seater. Let's have a quick look at it before we jump on track with it. So it has 170 brake horsepower. It's a 2-litre engine in there, 5-speed H-pattern gearbox. So it's not sequential with flappy paddles, so that's good. Proper H-pattern gearbox. Yeah, so it should be quite good. It's quite low power, but it should be quite nice to drive. Let's have a look at the livery options available to us. So we've got quite a few from here. They all carry the Brazilian flag on the rear wing end plate, as you can see. But I think these are all specific liveries for the championship. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe correct me on that, but it doesn't seem to follow the same normal trend of fictional liveries for AMS2. They look to be potentially correct liveries. I don't know. We'll see. But they've definitely got the series liveries on there with the Sparco, Pirelli, Ibac, all that kind of stuff on the bottom down there. So what a good selection of liveries to choose from. So we're going to use this one, and we'll take it to one of the Brazilian circuits. We'll start off at Londrina because good circuit, that one. I enjoy that one. So we'll try this one out first and see how it goes. Evening, Sam. Evening 7 Below, and evening Funky. Wow, good to see you all on this evening. I hope you're all keeping well, and yeah, it's exciting. More new AMS2 content, not the same size of update as you would normally get with some of the more recent updates for AMS2. This, of course, is still on release candidate, so it's only just been released to that side of things. So if you subscribe to the beta or the release candidate option, you'll be able to download and try this yourself. But if not, then it will be released fully when it's fine-tuned and things. So there may well be some things that we see in here which might change before it goes full release, but it should still be stable enough for us to drive and try out. So, okay, here we are at Londrina. So before we get on track, got quite a nice modern-looking steering wheel in front of us there with quite a lot of data on there. That's got a nice, neat steering wheel layout, actually. We've got quite a bit on there. We have obviously RPM, oil pressure, speed, engine temps, lap times, split times, all that kind of stuff. You've got a floppy disk icon on there as well, which is quite cool. So, H-pattern gearbox, let's get ourselves moving, but first, quick sound check. Sounds pretty good. Right, let's get out on track. A bit of sun flare to enjoy on this one. We've got some early morning running at Londrina. Hey GSM, hello all, just back from Fuerteventura, so currently sporting the lobster look. Oh, excellent. Well, it sounds like you had a good time. Right, let's see what's under the hood. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Sounds quite throaty, actually. Steering is quite strong on the old feedback side of things. Lots of bumps being felt. So we are running on slick tyres. should be a reasonable amount of grip. But we're going to build ourselves up here a little bit slowly just to make sure we're not pushing too hard. That's the worst thing to do when driving a new car, is to go straight out of the pits and just think it's got as much grip as a current day F1 car, and then you find the barriers. So it's always good to kind of build yourself up slowly and get a feel for things before you start really pushing. But cockpit's nice and detailed. I can see some nice texturing with the carbon fibre. You can just see it glinting underneath the bodywork on the top there. But it's quite nice. Obviously, you've got the little aero screen in front of you there. Some thumb screws holding it in place, kind of robustly. And then you got the mirrors, which again are held on quite basically, but obviously I can't see too much from the mirrors. Those with ultra wides or triples will probably see a little bit more, but this does sound really good, doesn't it, Raymond? I'm definitely in agreement there. Right, into the long version of turn 1 here at Londrina. Something satisfying about an H-pattern gearbox, isn't there? You can give it a good old hustle through the corners, but it's just so satisfying when you downshift. Even upshifting is good fun. Avoid the sausage on the inside. Don't want to have any of that, because I'm pretty sure that'll really upset things. So I guess this would sit kind of in the same region as a Formula 4 would in Europe, I think, is what I'm getting from the speed of it, the look of it, that kind of thing. It's more like an accessibility type car you can jump into out of karting. But it does have quite nice handling already. I can feel a good amount through the steering wheel. So let's see what it's like when we start pushing on a little bit more. Let's see if we can unsettle it slightly. Hey, whippy whip. AMS2 does have good sound, he says. Yeah, it does. There are some very nice audible tones coming through our speakers when we drive this in. Right, again, hanging out to the left-hand side here and pull in as late as possible. That's catching a little bit of the grass, but we survived. Decent brakes. Got it stopped quite nicely. Yeah, I kind of panicked and went to third for some reason then, but that's okay. Okay, so if you're in perhaps too low of a gear and trying to go uphill and accelerate at the same time, you might get a little bit of oversteer off the corners. Oh, I love Londrina, it's such a good track. So Whippy Whip also says, I think content is the last thing AMS2 needs right now. The madness setting which has garbage multiplayer, which has turned everyone away. Yeah, there was a big thing on the development notes, or the developers' diary, I suppose, things that they're talking to us about the development side of things with AMS2, that they are aware of the issues with multiplayer, and they are working on a few things. They've had a few successes, but nothing massive, but they have got some plans in the works to try and improve the multiplayer side of things, and they are aware that it's a big thing for a lot of people, and if it's not quite working to the way that they would like and those who drive it would like, then it's only going to suffer. So I think it's definitely in the pipeline of changes to come. Wow, I honestly don't remember that bump being so prevalent as it is in this car going into turn 1 there. It's good though, to feel the detail. This thing's actually really fun. Now, viewers of the channel will know that I'm not really a single-seater specialist or massively into my single-seaters, but what I do know is a fun car when I drive one, and this is actually quite a fun car. I know we've only done 3 laps, but let's push on. Moving on a second gear corner there. Leave it in third, I think. This one almost certainly is second gear corner. Nice detail on the curbs through the wheel. Yeah, it's feeling really nice. I mean, you can lean on the tyres quite a lot actually. You can really push and just guide it through the corners. There's a reasonable amount of grip actually. You can brake really late coming into turn 1 here. I suppose it's technically turn 2. Turn 1 would be the long right hand of it. But it's good. It does require a little bit of driving as well, so it's not just completely glued to the road. You have to put a little bit of corrective inputs in just to make sure you're going in the right direction, or continue to go in the right direction. Flat out through the chicane, always fun. So Sam says, completely agree, it's a shame, especially with the variety of content. Yeah, we really would enjoy having more people on AMS2 and being able to enjoy the content that we have available to us, which is vast and very nice indeed. Did it again. It's got carried away. You just get into the heel and toe way of living and you think, oh yeah, one more. Oh no, that's too much. But no, this is feeling pretty good. And I think it would be quite a nice car to jump into first time out of karts. I think it'd be quite an eye-opening experience for karters to jump into something like this. It'd be a reasonable step up, but not completely inaccessible, I suppose. Inaccessible. In a way, it still handles quite kart-like. It's very direct with the steering, and being slightly more, well, not fully low-powered, but in the grand scheme of things, reasonably low-powered. It does require you to be very precise with your corner speeds and maintaining that momentum through corners and things, which is very much the way with a kart as well. It's all about keeping your minimum corner speed right up. So it's the same principle applying on here. So there's a few things that can cross over between cars and karts. There we go, I learned, so I didn't go down to second gear that time. Well done, Phil. We'll need to go down a little bit later into there though, because we're bouncing off the limiter, but this is really fun. It's quite alive to drive. Yeah, this suits the Londrina quite nicely as well. Going quicker and quicker with each lap, as we're getting more and more used to it, which is nice. Do one more lap and then we might try it somewhere else. That's just being a little bit aggressive with the old steering and inputs there, but seeing what would happen if it got a little bit out of hand. So Marty says, my pre-ordered Grid MPX wheel arrives Monday. Going to be sweet. Ooh, nice. It's all coming together for you now, Marty, isn't it? Got a really nice rig in the works. Two more corners, and we'll potentially try that with some other cars on track as well and see how they race. There we go, up and over the line. Well, that was a fun start to the evening. Let's have a quick listen here. Let's check out some external sounds. A little bit of an interesting sound there when you come off the throttle. So you're on throttle accelerating and then you're changing gear and you have the quite harsh overrun that sounds alright actually there. I think just on gear changes it sounded a little bit odd. Yeah, it's just that kind of transition between there, that's where it kind of sounds a little bit odd, but in general it sounds pretty good. Let's my camera back to where it should be, so that's all good. Let's have a view from outside and watch this thing going around. I can't turn anything off. There we go. So it's a bit of an interesting looking thing because that front wing's really odd. You've got a fairly basic main plane on the wing, and then on the very ends, just in front of the front wheels there, you have a couple of elements, which is obviously to try and disrupt the airflow going over the tyres as well. It's a very unique looking front wing design on this thing. That's a limiter, by the way. It's pretty good on track though. It's an interesting shape, isn't it? But so Whippy says, looks a bit slidey. It's probably just me overdriving it, to be honest. I don't think it's necessarily the car's fault. More my inputs. If I was a little bit neater, maybe it might not look as slidey, but yeah, no, it looks good. Right, let's go add some other cars to the mix, shall we? See how we get on. So Ed says, what track is this? It looks fun. That is Londrina Long. It is a very fun circuit, that one. It's one of my favourites in the game, that one, for sure. It's yeah, got a nice layout to it, nice and flowing. There's a short version as well, which kind of cuts that first kind of section out where you have the long right into the tight left. But I find that to be quite clunky. It's quite bumpy going through there, so I prefer the long version. Definitely worth a drive if you haven't tried it yet. So Matty says, install the necessary cup holder on the rig today. Ah, yes. So I haven't got one of those. So yeah. Maybe I should. Sonic says, beer can holder and a straw, Marty. Oh dear. Right, let's go do a race with this thing, shall we? Let's go find it. The thing with adding a new category, of course, is it moves everything around on the on the car category picket on the left here. Right, where are you? There you are. Where should we go race this one? We should do another Brazilian circuit, I think. Should we go? Let's try Goiânia. Goiânia? Try that. No, we're not going to do multi-class. That'll just be absolutely insane. Just turn that down a little bit, see if we can actually retain some drivability. So 105, yeah, why not? Just going to jump straight into a race here. We're not going to bother with any kind of qualifying or anything. We're just going to give it a thrash on track with the other cars and see how they get on with it all. And go from there. So Whip says, the Brazilian tracks are awesome. Nice change from GT3 at Spa. Yes. Spa, Monza, GT3. Yeah. You're never too far away from any of those three in the online world of sim racing. So yeah, the Brazilian tracks are definitely a welcome addition. And like that with these particular cars, again, Riser Studios are bringing us a series of cars which you won't find anywhere else. I can pretty much guarantee you that most other sims out there will not have a Formula Inter like this. So it's an extra thing that we get to try out and new things that we get to experience, and it's all because of the guys at Riser Studios bringing these to our awareness, which is awesome. Right, so we've got a rolling start here on the grid with our grid of Formula Inters. Let's see how well they behave around this circuit. Ourselves in line here nicely. Wait for the lights. I think third gear is probably the way to start this off. Here we go. reasonable start though. Let's go to the inside. There's a bit of space there. I'm not going to force the issue just yet. First corner here is pretty quick, but not quite as quick as I made that. Right, we have some work to do to catch up the gap now. Look at this lot going 4 wide. They're brave. Alright, get on the brakes. They're still fighting it out at front here. Got a bit of a gaggle behind me as well. Let's see if we can get back up in touch with them. Hey RJ! Yay, new update! Yes, it's always a good day when a new update day comes around. Get on the brakes a little bit earlier here. Of course, being single-seaters, you don't have the luxury of seeing when their brake lights come on to try and gauge where you should brake. You just have to wait till you end up slamming into their gearbox before you realise you probably braked too late. Okay, we are breaching that gap slightly. Lick of flame from the exhaust of the car ahead of us though as we got on the brakes. Alright. I suspect there could well be some good slipstream battles to be had with this car actually. Actually set ourselves here with a 9-lap race as we continue over from our car alarmy stream from last week, but oh well, gives us plenty of chance to drive these things. Look at this, getting a good tow down the front straight. Down the gear, chuck it in, use the camber of the road hopefully. That's alright. The AI having a nice battle up front. There has been some work done on that as well, I believe. Mostly down to the AI's ability with pit stops and things as well, being a big part of that update. And their behaviour in wet, full course caution or safety car style environments. It's not going to do into here. We're going to go 3 wide again, are we? So even if you do catch one of those big sausage curbs, you can still just about get away with it. It doesn't launch you too badly. Well, not yet anyway. Let's look defending into here. Hard on the throttle again as we exit that corner. Things have settled down a little bit here. We've got ourselves stuck in a bit of low man's land, but we have got company. Wasn't expecting to be that far up there, but alright. Definitely have a top speed advantage here. A little bit of understeer, but still plenty of grip to the fast stuff. As Funky says, I want to just put a wheel on the tyre there. He had the revs die. Sorry, not a wheel on the tyre, wheel on the grass. Now we've been overtaken up the inside there because of that little error, and again, another place lost. And you felt the speed just sap out of the car then when I hit the grass. Oops. Going into that corner, they just seem to just take so much speed in, and then you actually do need to slow down a lot more than I did then. Right, we have work to do. We're going all over the place now, pushing too hard to try and keep up with these AI. Hey, Lucas says, hey, you saw... Hang on, finish that off when I got to this corner. It says you saw you can change the page on the screen of the steering wheel. Oh, okay, you can change pages. Okay, I'll have to see if there's a button that I need to map for that. It'll be worth checking out, seeing what you can see on the individual pages. Thanks for the heads up. Nice save, says Raymond. Yeah, it was a bit of a hairy moment that one, really, wasn't it? Let's see if we can get a better lap in this time. A bit neater through there then. although the guy behind's got a good run. A couple of groups forming up in front of us here. That's again me just overdriving, trying to keep up with the AI through the corners. They are really quick through some of these corners. They may be set a little bit too high. Also trying to defend from the guy behind as well. Oh, one to the left. So we can go all around the outside here of the double hairpin. Well, he's already ahead of me, are we? Currently we're racing towards the back of the field. They seem to be a little bit quicker than us. The only place where we are quicker than them is in a straight line. Possibly down to the slipstream effect. Come on. See if we can at least get this guy back. It's a little bit tight around there that time, but I got someone right on my tail. Ooh, look at that, we've got a bit of a run. I just have way more grip. I think that is an AI too strong situation, I think. I'm just having to just push so hard to keep up with them through the corners and they just drive away. So I think that's just one of those things. However, what that did kind of illustrate there is that you can probably have some pretty good racing with that. So I might just do another quick race, not 9 laps, but I might just do a shorter race and turn the AI down ever so slightly. Do a 5-lap race, I think, and we'll do it this time on another Brazilian circuit to do this at. Where should we go? I want to have something with a mixture of high and low speed corners so that we have a good balance. Shall we? Yeah. let's do it. Let's see how it handles the bumps of Salvador. So we'll turn that down to, let's do 103. Will be massively too quick now, but we'll try. So yeah, let's see how it handles the bumps of the Salvador circuit. Obviously being a street circuit, so it's got some road bumps and lumps to deal with, and obviously some rather large curves in some of the chicanes as well. So let's see how it can deal with something like that. Not sure if they would race at Salvador in real life, probably not, but yeah, science. We've just got to test this thing. So here we go. Where are we? We're starting pretty much dead last. Probably the safest place. And then yeah, let's go for it. Once again, a rolling start just to minimise some of the chaos. Some, not all. It all depends if we can get through here. And off we go. Well, that was the chicane. For some reason I thought I was starting here, so I wasn't quite ready for that chicane to come up at me. Gareth says, you need more practice. Thanks, guys. You're probably right there, though. Okay, well, we've already dropped back off these guys. Let's see if we can get our head together. Definitely a lot more bumpy. Single seaters and street circuits don't always mix too well. Neither does Phil in single seaters. I'm not gonna go too wide through there. That's just pure madness. Typical chicane, that one, in any car, let alone something like this. We're so close to the wall on the outside. Hey Eric, it says my city circuit Salvador, best carnival of the world land. Okay, nice. Salvador native. It's great to have you with us. It is a fun little circuit, this one. Apparently they do good carnivals as well, I'm sure they do. It's just not the line through there, but... Okay, well... that chicane, it's just... oh, not made for me. Let's try another circuit. I think if you had some skill, I think that would be okay. I clearly do not. Never mind. Let's try it at a more conventional circuit, shall we say. As much as I do enjoy that circuit, it's probably not the best one in this particular case. Other thing we need to try, we're going to take it international now, actually. We're going to try this. Snetterton. Now, you may remember that previously, after the last update, Snetterton was a rather ghostly experience, mostly because there weren't many of the textures there. So that apparently has been fixed in this update. So let's load into Snetterton. We'll do the 300 circuit and see if we have some textures and we can actually do a race here. If not, it'll be braille driving. So we'll see. We'll try this once more with the AI, see if we can have a good battle with them on a regular type circuit where I might stand a little bit of a chance. And then we'll get on to the next big thing of this particular update. So here we go, then where are we for this one? Again, it's putting us at the back. Very wise indeed. And we have textures, look at this! Snetterton is back. Here we go then. Split the atom down the middle. 3 wide. Towards the hairpin. Dive bomb. Sorry. Karen says, I remember Fosca's at Snetterton. Anyway, yes, that was, hello, where did that come from? Yes, that was a rather interesting experience, the Fosca's at Snetterton. This is probably a little bit better behaved than the Fosca, around here anyway. We'll see. That was a weird brain decision. Left hand didn't know quite which gear to put that in. Tell you what, it's nice around here. Skittle, says Todd, yes. Yes, it was a little bit skittlish. More dam busters than dive bomb. I went, yeah. Who released that bouncing bomb? You can call me Phil Lancaster. Hello. Someone returning the favour. Into the bomb hole. Speaking of bombs. There we go. Through there. Right, Coram. This is the corner which unstuck the Fosca. Followed by the final corner here at Murphy's. Oh no, I missed the gear. That's not good. But we saved it. That was my issue, not the car. Again, they're getting away. Even with dropping the AI skill level down, I'm obviously just not quick enough. Get the second apex. That can probably take a lot more speed through there than I gave it. Right, into the hairpin. Way too late. That was my invitation to leave by the AI. Right. Well, that's good. Snetterton works again. So those who have missed Snetterton over the last few months, you can happily go and revisit that because it's now working again. Okay, so for me at least, I'd have to turn the AI right down to have some form of race with them because they'll just drive off into the distance. Okay, so the Formula Inter is a new car for this update, and what do I think of it? Well, I think it's actually pretty fun. I think it's quite a nice single-seater addition to the roster of cars in AMS2. It's quite a cool looking thing. Again, it's nicely modelled. I mean, you've got the big diffuser at the back there as well, which is quite unusual actually for a car such as this. But yeah, it looks nice, drives really well, sounds good. So yeah, good addition to the sim. Right. The other addition in the update that we're talking about right now is one that has also been causing a fair amount of excitement in the world of AMS2 users. And so, as such, I need to find a suitable vehicle to take around this new additional track. So it doesn't really sit if I use the new one. So I'm going to have to find an older car to use here. So let's do the 86 Opalas, kind of in that era. Right. So what am I talking about here? What's the new track that we have available to us? It is, of course, Bathurst 1983 version. So the big change that you'll notice from the track map there, this is our current 2020 edition of Bathurst, which we all know and love, and I've done many laps around here, as you know, from the Bathurst challenges. But the big difference here, of course, that you can see from the track map at least, is the removal of the chase. So now we come out of Forest Elbow and we just keep it flat chat all the way down until we get to Murray's Corner at the very end of the lap. So yeah, braking is going to be fun. So yeah, but there are other changes and we shall jump into that as we go. But for now, let's load in and give it a drive. So Todd says, is it F4-ish? Yes, we were kind of talking about that earlier. This is the Formula Inter. I think it does kind of sit in that Formula 4 style level of single seaters, I think, and it's kind of the same kind of pace, perhaps. Maybe, if anything, it might even be a little bit quicker than a Formula 4, but it seems to have quite a lot of aero, so it might be a bit quicker through the fast stuff. But yeah, it's in that kind of zone. Right, Marty says, and off into the trees. Yes, we shall see. If we're driving something a little bit more fearsome, I think that could well be the case. Thankfully, the Opala is reasonably controllable. With that being said, that means I will be throwing it off somewhere down the line. So, first off, the pit complex is rather different compared to how you see it these days. So it's very, very basic. It's very similar to Goodwood actually in that respect. It looks you've got a covering over the top and then just some open garages. What we do have in pit lane are some speed bumps. Now, I don't think I've ever seen speed bumps on a racetrack pit lane before. Well, they got slow painted on them, so you've got to keep your speed down. However, I feel we need to test something. I think we need to test if particular race cars can come down pit lane, perhaps not pit lane speeds, and if it can get all the way to the other end with those speed bumps in there. So we'll try that. Anyway, let's go out on track here at Bathurst. This is the 83 edition of Bathurst, and the pit lane exit here actually goes on a little bit further than perhaps it does on the modern version. at least it feels like it anyway, unless the pit lane's just shorter in terms of buildings and things. But let's just take this in for a moment. I'm not going to go fast. Love the vintage Repco sign there, that's really cool. Now, one of the things which they've said on the forums about this is that they actually introduced 3D trees. So that one there on the right hand side, so the trees next to the track are actually 3D. So if you've noticed or driven perhaps in VR around the modern Bathurst, when you get to about here, for example, some of these trees would kind of weirdly just swing away from you because they're 2D and they're just really, really odd. Whereas now we have proper 3D trees which don't do that, so we have the full immersion effect. So here we are at Mountain Bend, some nice classic Castrol signage on the left there. But what you'll also notice with this old layout of Bathurst is the distinct lack of barriers. We have earth banks, we have grassy mounds on the right side. There are still some barriers in certain key areas, such as here going up towards the cutting, because it could easily drop off the side there very quick, or faster. But yeah, so it's a lot more raw in its view of the circuit. So you have obviously the safety barrier on the left-hand side there, because otherwise you're plunging off Mount Panorama itself. But other than that, you have these grass banks for company, which actually opens it up a little bit. So in modern Bathurst, obviously the walls are really close, aren't they? They're right there, and any false move and you end up scraping them and you're damaging the car. Here, there's a little bit more room, but I wouldn't say there's more forgiveness because I think if you were to go off line slightly, especially there's a very real chance you could probably launch it going down the S's here. But just kind of taking this all in here, there's the dipper there without the wall on the inside, just the grass bank. But it looks good, doesn't it? I mean, the 3D trees look mega. I think you have a really good view of the circuit back in the day when you were here, without all the catch fencing in the way, just a simple wooden fence to stand at. There we go, into the elbow, and then off we go down the hill. Again, no barriers on the exit there. There was one particular famous crash which someone kind of ran down that barrier on the exit of the the elbow there, and then just veered off right into the trees. Down Conrod Straight, got a nice old windmill to the left there. No bridge over the top of the hill here, of course. And then this is where you'd normally be preparing yourself to get ready to turn right into the chase. So you'd normally come over this side of the road and go, yep, here we are. And then you'd be off this way. But not here. We are straight on down. It's so cool. So Whippy Whip says the 86 Opal is one of the better cars in MS2. It is really good, this one. Looks safe as houses around here, says Gareth. Yes, absolutely. We're well in safe hands. Right, that's our virtual tour. Let's pick up the pace a little bit. Hey Eddie, says, I remember an Aussie golf game that had kangaroos on the course. Spot any koalas in those trees? We might have to go for a look to see if we can see any, because the safety ruse might be out. Todd says it's very Jurassic Park looking. There's plenty of trees around. Hope we don't spot any velociraptors or T-Rexes chasing us. But here, obviously, you got the brick wall entrance to someone's house, gateways to other people's houses at that side. Some barriers around those trees because that's safe. Here we go. Mountain Bend. So the actual layout over the top of the mountain hasn't changed from what we know and love today, so it should all drive very similarly. What I did notice here is on the right hand, as we come around here and go left, obviously the barriers normally come out to here, but there's a bit of extra tarmac on the left there, so you can actually straight line that a little bit more as we come down towards the grate. Right, up to McPhillamy. Over the crest. No curb on the inside to catch you, or no curb on the outside to stop you from going off, but there is actually a barrier there, which isn't these days. So that's actually probably a bit harder. even less forgiveness in that corner. Through the dipper. Down towards the elbow we go. Get it stopped and hooked up on the inside. I do wonder if those fences are breakable. Because it'd be interesting to test to see if it just goes straight up into the trees and never to be seen again. Right. Flat out. This time down the Conroe Straight. Keep it over to the right hand side. Question now, of course, is where do we brake? Well, what is arguably one of the hardest corners on the circuit, now it's going to be approached even quicker. I'm going to get on the brakes now. It's about right. Of course, there's also a downhill braking point into there as well, so you're not only carrying more speed down the Conroe Straight, you also have to get it stopped whilst running downhill. Also, on the exit here of Hell Corner, you have extra tarmac there, so that would normally be a curb. They've actually tightened that up in modern day, so you have a bit more space on the outside there, so you can actually carry a bit more speed through there. Okay, up we go once again. It does look very nice. I mean, the fields of things on the left there all looks very, very good. Let's try and go a little bit quicker. I know I said I was going to pick up the pace last time, but I ended up slowing down and talking about different things, so let's try and go a little quicker over the mountain this time. Still just as likely to get the rear end out coming out of the cutting there. There we go. There's our bit. We can just straight line it across there. Nice and easy. I touched the grass, but we're still okay. And again. Right. That's actually a really frightening corner now. Even more so than it was. Into Frosker's Dip. Got away with that. Nearly was able to look into the rabbit holes on the wall there, that close to it. So Personic says the historic tracks in MS2 are top notch. Yes, that is definitely something that I can agree with. It's always a pleasure driving the historic circuits, and we've got some really good stuff to look forward to as well. I mean, obviously we have this version of Bathurst, but soon enough we have the historic Nordschleife coming, and they've actually just revealed that they're also planning to add in the Südschleife as well. So we've got a little bit more for our expectations of the Nordschleife. So that'll be really good. Under the Hardy Bridge, James Hardy, which used to be the title sponsor of the Bathurst 1000, it used to be the James Hardy 1000 back in the day. See, I'm taking the regular line, so I've got all that tarmac to play with on the right. I just need to retrain my brain to carry more speed to that first corner. So he said, I do find the historic tracks to be more immersive. Yeah, I think in VR driving around here would be quite the experience. It's a bit more like racing on country roads rather than a racetrack itself. I mean, obviously, the Bathurst circuit is actually partly, well, mostly public road as well. But it actually feels more like it now because of the less barriers around. Okay, so we'll finish this lap off, and then we might test what it's like if you catch one of those banks, which I almost did just then. Then we're aiming for the grate there, because I didn't see it. That's obviously been added in at a later date. This is one less reference point. Oh, wow. That was cut through the dipper. That was so fun. I'll tell you what, when you hook up a lap around Bathurst, you definitely feel like you've achieved something, you've done something good, because that was so fun. Hey Steve! He says, hi Phil, been on AMS2 today, I think it's the best around, like, competing with iRacing. Well, it's definitely one of my favourites to drive. I think, multiplayer-wise, I think iRacing obviously has it down, but in terms of feel and immersion, I think, yeah, AMS2 is really, really good. Right, it's down into the final corner here, using the engine braking to our advantage. Right. Let's try and go a bit quicker through turn 1 then, and see what we can get away with. Oh, look at that. Different corner now. Oh, it's been validated. How? What? What was that from? Okay, maybe you can't go that far out. It's there, but you can't use it. It's quite a bit of a tease, really. It's like, oh, here you go, you got some extra time, but you can't drive on it. Even though there's no white line, they're telling you can't. Right. So I reckon we find ourselves a suitable bank to try and drive into and see what it does. So I think probably one of the ones up at the top of the hill might be a good one to start off with. So what happens if you just turn in too early here? Oh. Yep. No, that's it's very much game over, that, isn't it? So you've got to be accurate. You've always got to be accurate around Bathurst, but I think it's harder because if you have a obviously a vertical concrete barrier on the inside, you're not going to drive into that because it's going to hurt. Whereas if you see a bank like that, there's a temptation there to kind of go, well, if I ride it up a little bit, it's kind of just like a small curve, so I can maybe cut a little bit of that there. But then if you do end up taking a little bit too much, you are going to get the same effect and it's going to get pounded across the other side of the circuit. So, all right, let's do something else. Let's try a modern Super V8 at a historic Bathurst. See how the Super V8 drives around here. And then we'll have to go kangaroo hunting. So Frankie says, where there are curbs, there are proper curbs. Yes. So what we find with the 80 circuits, isn't there? We seem to see that when you had curbs there, they were really thick, really steppy curbs. So if you hit them, you certainly know about it because it'll pop the car up on two wheels, or it'll jolt your hands on the steering wheel. Not like the modern day curbs, where it's like nice and smooth with a serrated edge on it, but it's just like a nice little extension of the circuit. Whereas those, yeah, you hit those. So Marty says, testing this later in VR, I'll just drive into walls due to looking all around. Yeah, no, definitely. Lots to take in if you're in VR. So Steve says, which is best VR set for sim racing? Anybody know? That's a good question. I'm probably not too well qualified to answer that one, but yeah, I think from what I've heard of, I think the Pimax is supposed to be good, but it's very expensive. But those who are VR experts, I'm sure will be able to offer their thoughts on that. Right. Here we go then. Let's take the Super V8 out. See how it deals with these speed bumps in in pit lane. It's certainly an effective way of keeping the speed down. Just have no splitter left by the end of it. Right, here we go. Love this thing. We just need some classic Aussie touring cars now. So, like we were saying, I think in the previous stream, we need something like an old Tirana or like an XY Falcon or something like that. The sound of this thing is so good. Ooh. It's a little bit more lively than the Opala, though. We also need some tyre temps. Do love that little cut across there. Rounding out through compression there. Yeah, that's really tricky. It's a lot tighter on the inside, so you don't have the space with the curb there. So you've got to be accurate when you're turning through there. And not carry too much speed. There's that curb. Big old jolt on the hands. Ooh, that was a rev on the inside there as well. Just trying to find the the width of this car. We'll get there. So RTP says this car is supposed to two-wheel down the dipper. Okay, gotta get over to the right, not the left, like we normally would expect to. So what kind of speed are we going to be topping out down here? 185 mile an hour. Hopefully we've got some good brakes. Need to be braking a bit earlier than that. Oh no, we found the gravel. No. Thankfully they did put some gravel in there, but it's not going to catch you if you're doing 185 miles an hour. Right, let's go again. We have some tyre temperature now, so it should be a bit better over the top. Oh, this thing's a bit of an animal, isn't it? Right, let's strap myself in for this. Okay, brake nice and early. Oh, we're going to experience our first... Oh no. That was bound to happen at some point. Right, let's go back to the pits. Let's try again. Speed limiter on. What happens if you're actually at speed limit? For a transmission. Right.
Can't be a proper sim racer without a cup holder.
No, this is probably very true, Marcy. Thank you very much for the 5. That's very, very kind of you. I'll put it towards a cup holder. No, really, thanks. But that could be one of the proper sim racers who are left out. Not part of an exclusive club anymore. Thanks, Marty, I appreciate that. Right. We've got to build our tyre tents up all over again. Although that's much of a problem with this thing. There's some. There's some more. Circuit. Bathurst is so good. So it's pretty fearsome now when you're driving a modern day. Just imagine the courage you'd need to drive something around here back in the 80s or even earlier. I'm pretty sure even before this period there'd be even less barriers to the outside of the circuit to keep you on track. So yeah, pretty scary, especially when you're doing very high speeds over the side of the mountain. It's alright, you don't have to be a gatekeeper, it's all good. Right, so we must brake earlier this time. This is one of those times where you could use a cup holder because you can actually use it before you have to put the brakes on. So yeah, before the bridge seems to be the braking point. Right, let's go again. Definitely have a very particular driving style, these Super V8s. Got to be very careful with your right foot. It's something that you need to kind of train yourself to do, because in some cars you have to be a little bit more aggressive with it, but these you have to be so careful just to keep the rear end in check. It just makes the run into the next part of the lap very quick with that cut. Almost feels like the bump into McLaren is actually even more pronounced than it is in modern day as well. So, about these 3D trees, they've also added them to the modern version of Bathurst, I believe, which is good. So no more weird moving tree situations. Trees move anyway, but not in the way they were moving before. It's good, you can sit in the middle of the road, you can feel the car trying to pull right and left because of the crown and the road, so go over this side here. We almost need to find a car that can get some air over that bump there when you're travelling downhill. And that the Caterham 620R was getting a bit of a wheelie over the crest on Mountain Straight, so maybe we bring the 620R here and see what it can do down Conrad Straight. Bit too enthusiastic on the throttle there. Okay, well that works. Let's see what else we can find. Let's actually do that now. Let's take the 620R out and see how that handles the old school Bathurst. The quad says, horrible physics. My Camry hybrid takes low speed corners faster. It's still quite slippy, the Super V8. But I think if I had the throttle control, it wouldn't be so bad. I think it's just very sensitive on the throttles. You can probably change that with some of the settings in game. I can change it in the Lasertech software. I can change the pedal curve so it's less aggressive. At the moment, I've got it to be quite aggressive on the first part of my movement, so it comes in quite quickly and then it tails off at the end. So you can reverse that and have a slightly shallower curve, which might help with getting the power down a bit better. Right, here it is, 620R, and strap yourself in, guys, because we're going to get liftoff very shortly. We're definitely getting it on the way up the hill, but with the extra straight and gravity in our favour, there could well be some some flying moments going down there in more ways than one. So yeah, that's what happens. Just testing these things for you, just so you can be aware of them should you encounter them. Right. Let's see how this is over the bumps here. Let's give it a... Right. One moment. Let's try that again. This time remembering we're in a Caterham 620R and we can't get the power down that abruptly. Forgot how much of a weapon this thing is. There we go. Nice and gentle. Stone cold tyres. Far too much power for its own good. Makes for a great combo. Right. So this is where we were getting some wheel stands, like that. And that's only at 140 odd mile an hour. Let's see what happens if we can even make it there. I think we're good. We're still good. Okay, this is going to be... G'day. Right, let's Let's try that again. What's happened to the 620R? Or what's happened to me? One of the two. Well, this thing's a bit of a beast, isn't it? Because I drove this last time at the road course for Fontana, and it was fun. It was good. It was controllable. Maybe I'm just not taking into account the elevation issues, which unsettle cars like this. Right, let's try again. So Marty says, Acertech's video about the elastomer kit was quite interesting, all the maths and such. Yeah, it's good that they go into that detail for you to help you see what it all means. Right, nice and easy this time, Phil. Right. Uphill. Careful on the throttle. Our man's safe this time round. Well, this is even more wild than I remember it being. Now we're going to go downhill. Just going to say this really slowly is to make sure we survive this. Even then, it's still a bit risky. Alright, let's get ready to floor it out of the forest elbow. Here we go. We're going to be absolutely flat out this time. So it's quite a gentle rise over that crest there, but I think this next one's not going to be quite so gentle. On the limiter at 165 miles an hour. Oh, there's a little bit of lift. Oh, it's not so bad actually. Right. Let's go into the pits and test these speed bumps out. Well, we already knew this thing wasn't going to survive. Oh man, right. 620 hours still a complete mess. Yeah, that was weird. That was not quite as drivable as it was. I actually said beforehand when we tried that out last time that it was drivable and it was good fun, but for that felt really weird. Then very strange. Funky says Phil is trying to get a better look at those 3D trees. Yeah, that was all in the plan. Sonic says, wonder if something has changed with the patch for that car. It was not that slippery from memory. No, it wasn't. I think something may have changed, but I've not seen anything in the notes specifically. Yeah, bizarre that one. Right, okay, well let's up the speed a little bit, because obviously I can control anything this evening. Let's go... let's just go straight to the top, shall we? The quickest car around the modern Bathurst in our test has been this, the former Ultimate Gen 2. Fairly unsurprisingly, really. So let's take it for a spin, figuratively speaking, at the 83 version and see how it gets on. Oh dear. Hey Trick, welcome. Good to have you with us. Hope you're doing well. Right. First test for the former Ultimate. Can I get over the speed bumps? Okay. Test 1 survived. Oop. It just bounces over them. Okay. This is going to get very quick, very fast. So GSM says, I once drove a 628R and the ANS version is pretty much on point. The thing is a monster. That's good to know. Ooh. Wow. Good thing about these cars is that I can push from the outlet because tyre warmers. 80s curbs, modern Formula 1 car does not comply. Here we go. Land speed records attempt. We're on 200 mile an hour. Although it's probably not the quickest thing in a straight line. I think some of the Indy cars are probably quicker than this down the straight line, so we'll have to try that. No problem with the downforce, of course. And also no problem with the brakes at the end of the straight. They'll probably even brake a bit later than that. Yeah, so you can't use that runoff. I didn't go off on track then, that was still on the tarmac, but the race director doesn't like it. There's no tarmac there to catch you if you go a little bit wide. It almost looked like I had that for a moment. And then I didn't. Let's just take a look at that for a second. So Michael, welcome Michael. So the update dropped for everyone? Yeah, it has, but you would need to enable the release candidate mode for AMS2 so you can get your hands on it, as Marty said there. So yeah, sign up for the beta, the release, not the beta, but the release candidate option, and you can give it a try for yourself. This, of course, is the full lap which we managed to do without crashing. Let's take a look from the TV cameras at this glorious circuit. Missed. It's so quick, isn't it? The quad says you need insurance to drive AMS2. Yeah, I'm sure my shoulders flat out down the straight. I'm pretty sure at this kind of speed, if you're standing where the fences are here, you'd probably have your hair parting on the other side. It's just the wind that just rushed past you. Right, here we go, and this is where we start to unravel slightly at the top of the hill. Yep, definitely didn't go off track there. But you can't run that far out. Shame. Braking distances are just absurd. There's the dirt. Right, we'll start to go wrong there. Had it. Yeah, I got this, no problem. No, you don't. It actually looked like it survived that pretty well. So let's see if we can carry on. A quick spin in the middle of the road. Very dangerous to do at this point of the track. Just take a bit of concrete out of the wall, it's all good. Luckily our front carbon fibre wing is very strong. Let's see if we can still drive this thing. Of course, after an accident like that, the first thing you do is go absolutely flat out around every corner because that's the done thing. Got to test those limits. Wow. Okay, when you hook it up the dipper and you actually find the apex, that's quite the experience. not a fan of RF2 then, TSM bad. Right, here we go then. Let's see how late we dirt. Again, still too early, which is madness. Okay, race director was happy that time around. Okay, let's see if we can do a flying lap proper this time. No, it's not flat out for the first part of the chase, Phil. What are you thinking? I know it's quick, but it's not that quick. Let's try again. Avoid the speed bumps. We'll save the poor Formula Ultimate suspension this time. And maybe not so lucky on the inlet. MS1 is still one of, if not the best driving experiences about, says Rookie Rip. It is still very, very good indeed. So that's much more serene into that. Still need to be careful on that crest there though. Really, I can say you can turn in early and commit to that corner, but maybe not quite that much. Right. Well, that thing is quick, but I think let's do a top speed test. See what happens when we put one of the quicker cars down the Conrod Straight without the chase. See what happens. So GSM does that. I messed up Solin AC, but I'm still building up the energy to try and fix it. Oh no. Yeah, it's not always easy to things to put in these mods for things like shaders and things. It's not always the easiest to try and do, but they look good when they're working. Right, now I'm trying to think which one is quicker, because I know one of them is gear limited almost. Well, 910 brake horsepower should be pretty good, wouldn't it? It's 917 even. Oh, I know which one I'm going. Let's try this. So the other one, the Formula Ultimate, I think was about, what was it, 206-ish top speed. Let's see what we can do with this thing. Painful to watch. Oh dear. I was mad. Right, let's try this one out. So obviously we don't have quite the cornering grip as the Formula Ultimate. Let's just see what we can do in a straight line. No tyre temps either on this one, so Toyota engine revved up. Wouldn't have thought I'd be revisiting the Formula USAs at Bathurst this soon, but here we are. Had to be done. That barrier there is really sharp in its profile against the circuit, so definitely want to be hitting that one. Right. Let's see what we can do top speed wise here. 207, 209. I'm maxing out around 210, 211 maybe. And got it stopped for the final corner as well. Right. Let's do one more lap with this, and then we'll pull into the pit lane and do a fly past. Nearly found a wall. We'll try and keep the car in one piece so that we can actually do our pit lane test. Because of course now with this layout of Bathurst you can't do the jump at the chase anymore because it's not there. So you have to do your jump somewhere else. So pit lane will have to do. A little bit more planted over the top of the hill now. I have some tyre temps on underneath us. Of course, the 6th gear in the IndyCars is more geared for the oval side of things, so when you're in draft, but I'm sure you could probably get more speed out of it if you extended that 6th gear, if that was possible. Right, pit lane then. Can we survive all the way to the end whilst accelerating? Well, we made it, sort of. And I did touch every single one of them. I didn't miss any of them out. So there we go. That's why you don't go flat out over speed bumps. Okay, so that's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, I do like the historic version of Bathurst. I think it's really cool. Let's take one other car here. We'll probably take something. Well, let's try this. Let's take one of the trucks out and we get an even better view of the Bathurst circuit as we're sitting a little bit higher up. And then we'll have a bit more of an explore and see if we can find any hidden Australian wildlife anywhere. We'll go all David Attenborough and go and hunt out some locals. Let's see what we can find. So GSM does this excellent speed bump negotiation. Now for the repair bit, which I can imagine would be quite hefty. New plank and floor, please. Right. See if the truck can manage it. No problem. Probably squashes them. See 2 grooves running down the speed bumps. Right. Let's see if we can see over. The wooden fence is a little bit easier with this thing. If we see into the fields a little bit easier. Right. We're just going to try and get this stopped here. Stop. Big heavy thing. Right. I'm just going to be a bit nosy here. See if there's anything we can see down this road. In fact, what I might do, no, we'll do that in a car which is, or vehicle which is more suitable for doing so. We'll just have an extended, higher up view of the circuit, and then we'll get a car we can actually drive and manoeuvre easier. So let's just see how frightening it is going over the top of the hill when you can actually see a bit more of what's below you. Just a barrier there, actually. There's not much behind that one. Let's have a look over here. Yep, quite a nasty drop off the right hand side there. Let's come out of here and just see nothing but sky. Do you like the classic advertising board as well, which they obviously do quite a lot of in the historic layouts of the circuits on AMS2 with the big wooden boards. Buildings at the top of the mountain there. Look at that, to see the land sprawling out in front of you there. Good view off the top. Not so good if you're heading towards it in a huge rate of knots downhill. Oop, crunch. Stop. Someone's postbox above the looks like someone's postbox above the barrier there. I wouldn't want to have someone run into that. You want to be able to know where to. The person wouldn't know where to put his letters. Right. Top speed, obviously significantly lower in the truck, but still pumping out 147, 150 mile an hour. Let's brake up the hill here. We might get it stopped. Okay, maybe I broke a little bit too early. Oops, the second gear is just a bit limit of speed. Not an easy vehicle to manhandle around there. Right, let's get a more agile car and we'll do some exploring, see what we can see. What should we take? Alright. What we'll do, we'll take the Evo M3, I think, because Group A cars obviously did race around Bathurst back in the day, so maybe we'll take that one. Sam says, try the GT Corvette, the one with no brakes. Even less brakes than the truck. Don't think so. So you're not a fan of AMS2 then, the quad? It doesn't look like it from what's being said in the physics, in the comments there. Yeah, I mean, it all depends, doesn't it, really, on your setups and how you got your feedback set up and things. It does drive quite slippery, some of the cars, I will admit. But then there's a lot of cars which do drive very nicely indeed, and I enjoy the physics of driving them. I enjoy iRacing as well. I enjoy numerous different sims, but it really does. I mean, some of the older cars where you're more likely to go sideways with them, it makes more sense. But it still, really drives nicely in some of the more modern stuff as well, I feel. But I have a good feel for the wheel, which helps with understanding what's going on a little bit. But so GSM Dad says the dash in that truck reminds me of the old 80s character Johnny Five from Short Circuit. Yes, I remember him. I think I'm losing you, he says. Whippy Whip says the little Camaro thing. Yeah, the Aussie racing car. Oh yeah, we should probably take that out there, shouldn't we? It's native. Right. Let's drive the E30. Like the classic Dunlop sign on the pit wall there. Okay. Let's see what we can find on our tour of Bathurst here. Let's have a look at some of these details here. So these trees with the barriers wrapped around them, quite nicely detailed bark on there. Lots of interest, not just a round shape. Quite a nice place to have it there, isn't it? For a good view of the circuit, just walk to the end of your driveway and you'll be right there. Okay, and we'll wander on a little bit further. So it should be out in those fields there. Potentially we might see some wildlife, but I don't see anything just yet. Spied a hole in the fence. Can we get out there? Will it let us? No. Shame. I was going to go explore a little bit more. Okay, let's carry on up Mountain Street. What does this sign say here? Banula. Must be the name of the house, or maybe the family name, possibly. I'm not sure. There's a gated entrance there. Let's have a look down here. This is where we wanted to look at before. This, can you drive into here? Gonna take it. No, that's just gonna take it a little bit slowly, just in case. Unfortunately, even though the gates are open, no one home. Right, let's carry on. What else can we spot? There's also the good thing about these 3D trees. I'm not harping on about this, but they're all different. So they've all got their own unique styling to them. So you've not just got one template of tree and then you just plonk it here, there, and everywhere. It's all got a bit of variety to it. So Whippy Whip says, "Are the fences destructible?" We'll have to test it. All cars are destructible when Phil's driving. Yeah, well, goes without saying. No off-road allowed is a shame. Yeah, hopefully they do allow that in, because I know some of the circuits they have, I think Cleveland's one of them where you can kind of drive around and explore all sorts of other areas of the circuit. Let's see what else we can see. There's someone else's driveway up that way. That would be able to get down that road as well. Right. I do wonder if those tyres move, or are they just like a wall. That's just... It's just a wall. Alright. Onwards. Let's find some more details. Repo high-tech. Okay. Only repossessing high-tech stuff. They don't repossess low-tech stuff. Okay. Might be too many kangaroos around up here. There's too many people about. Right. What else is up here on the right side? Just have a quick look in the mirrors there. Access road. Let's try it. We'll put the rear bumper to use this time rather than the front. Let's see how far we get up here. Ooh. Nope, that's as far as we go. But we do get to go and say hello to those spectators. Cover them in dust as we try and get back onto the track. Can you drive down the runoff at the end of the bottom of Conwood Straits? Well, we'll have to find out. So pretty much straightforward across the top here. Again, yep, different retreat. Let's see if we can go over here. So that's trees very much in play there. There's no barriers to stop you from going off there. Ooh, hello. We may have found something. So you can actually go around the back of that little building. Let's go up here again. So, when the rallycross stuff comes in, we can take it over there. Oops, come on. There's a little bit of dirt track over the top there, so there's an extended version and a short version. Oop, this one just drops off into the grass. Let's go on the inside here, see where we can go. Hunting for echidnas and snakes. Ooh. Well, that's a solid blade of grass right there. That's the Joker route, yeah, that's it. That's the one. Maybe we can, maybe we'll do a community race where you have to take the Joker lap at Bathurst at least once. Not quite sure how you would police that to make sure everyone did, but it'd be fun. Hopefully if they introduce the what is it, the stadium trucks, which we had in AMS1. Hopefully that might be something we could do with that. Alright, so obviously we've got no tarmac runoff on the left-hand side of the S's there, so there's no escape for you if you end up running off too hot off the top of the mountain. What else can we find? Nothing else down there. What I did see, I'm just going to pause it here a second as my bonnet comes up all by itself. I wonder whether this is actually a hint. Okay, don't read into I don't know anything about this at all. I was wondering, I was speculating here. Did anyone spot the hint? I know that's the skyline section of the circuit. But, yeah, we've got Nissans in game. We have Group A cars in game, albeit DTM spec. I wonder if there's a Nissan Skyline coming at some point. That'd be nice. Anyway, enough speculation. Let's get on with it. Let's see what else we can find. Can't quite see if there's anything in the distance over there. What we can do, let's just engage photo mode for a moment here, and we'll go off and see what we can actually see. So, let's get ourselves just getting stuck on a wall. My poor M3 looking very worse for wear. Right, let's go into photo mode here, and we'll go drone cam. Let's see anything over this way. Get our focus back. There we go. All right. See if we can spot anything out in the out in the undergrowth over there. Can't see anything. Because you've got to think that with some of the little Easter egg type things that Riser have put in on some of the other circuits, you've got to wonder whether there's something around here. There's lots of space, and there's a very good chance that there may well be something hiding, even if it is just a koala hidden up in the eucalyptus somewhere, in the gum trees. you gotta wonder. Right. Well, sadly, there's nothing down that way. Let's continue our tour of the other parts of Bathurst. Let's see what's up this way. We can get all over there. Some fences stopping you from going too far, though. Right. Back on. What's this way? Oh, it's a gate in behind there, that's right. Right. Wander off down the hill some more. It's like an advert on the road there, which is quite cool. So there, of course, is the windmill, which we'll see in the mirrors in a moment. Sometime. There it is. Very nicely detailed. Okay. Another house right next to the road there, which is awesome. Imagine being woken up first thing in the morning to race cars going past your door. Oh, my bonnet's gone. Where did I lose that? I didn't even notice. And then some gravel being dumped out. Yeah, then we're back round to the start of the lap. So, a little bit disappointing there's no obvious kangaroos out there, but with a bit more exploration, maybe we'll find something. We've got some big gates down here, which will stop us from driving off into Bathurst town itself. But all in all, the circuit looks really nicely done, doesn't it? It's very nicely textured. The start-finish buildings there. Very, very cool. I don't even know, is there a grandstand there in the modern one? I don't even pay attention to that. Or is it just, is this so obvious that it's just the smaller one, whether it's a longer grandstand or grandstand there? But I know there's some big spectator banking on the right hand side there, which is often filled. But yeah, I don't remember the grandstand being there in the modern one. Okay, that's cool. Well, that's pretty good. What we're going to do, just because it is part of the update, I'm going to load up the new version of Bathurst and just check out how that looks with its graphical updates. So then let's just have a quick scan through the changelog here just to see if there's anything else that's noteworthy to bring to your attention about the update. Let's just select the modern version of Bathurst, which is that one, and we'll go with the ARC Camaro here. Let's load in on that. So yes, there's some UI HUD updates. So physics-wise, then, so traction control intervention for GTE, GT4, GT3, and some of the prototype cars as well. So the intervention, so is that changing the how aggressively it kicks in? I wonder. Could be. So some decreased engine wear from increased boost pressure in the F Classics. Just force feedback in Formula Ultimate Gen 1 and Gen 2, so I would have experienced that going through with the Formula Ultimate before. Did feel pretty solid, to be fair, as did the walls. McLaren MP44 corrected error in pitch inertia. That might be a bit of a handling change for that. McLaren MP45B corrected fuel tank size from 150 to 212 litres, so you can carry more fuel and drive more laps in the MP45, which is a good thing.
Thanks for a great stream, smiley face.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Pasonic. Thanks for the 5. That's very, very kind of you. Yeah, glad you enjoyed it. I mean, we're just checking out. There's not too much in the way of content in comparison to some of the other AMS2 content updates, but still some good quality in here. So this is the AI stuff then. So several improvements to AI weather and tyre strategy logic. Fixed the bug where AI cars would spin during full course yellow on a wet track. Improved the behavior and speed of AI when entering and leaving the pits. Calibrated simulated qualifying times for a few different classes. And then Hareth 98 has improved the AI fast line. Some audio updates for the Nissan R89 and the R39, so that's the GT1 and Group C cars. Snetterton obviously fixed, we checked that out earlier. Imola 2001 has fixed the ice track bug, which is another one which I saw mentioned as someone had brought to their attention after the previous update. I didn't drive the 2001 Imola, I don't think, so I wouldn't have noticed the ice racing level on there, but apparently that's supposed to be fixed. Spa-Francorchamps 1970 increased the garage limit to 32 cars for the GP layout. They got a bigger grid on Spa, which is cool. That's the historic version. Yeah, and then updated and optimized the foliage for Bathurst, which is this one we're going to try now. And yeah, so a few bits and pieces on there, a few vehicle changes as well. But nothing enormous, but I have a feeling there's more good stuff coming soon. I know that they're hoping to release a few other things before the end of March as well, so we're not done yet with the March update, so we'll see what else is coming our way. But for the meantime, let's jump in the Aussie Racing Cars Camaro. Let's just have a quick check. This is the front straight, obviously, but I don't see any grandstand there. Anything in the mirror? Oh yeah, there it is there. Just never noticed it. Right. So here we go. So we have the new updated foliage and trees for the later version of Bathurst as well. Which does look very nice as well. It seems to be more trees and more bushes than in the old version. Of course we have more barriers to look at. Yeah, that's a much nicer experience driving past them now. This is like the old 2D trees were just get out of the way as you went past them. It was a weird experience. Well, that's much nicer. So here's that difference up here at the top. Obviously there I cut across it, but now you have a BP Ultimate barrier to stop you from doing that. You just see how the circuit infrastructure's changed over the years with the addition of the crash fencing and obviously the extra barriers and so on. Down through Fusker's Dip we go. Oops. Yeah, so it's a lot more enclosed in the modern version, isn't it? I mean, obviously you've got barriers everywhere, but you are driving a bit more through a tunnel as you drive over the top of the mountain. The old version seems a lot more free and, you know, open to the eyes, which is can be a little bit deceiving. It makes you want to drive it a little bit quicker than perhaps you probably should. But it's fun though. Ooh, I've now forgotten that I need to get over to the left for the chase. The motorbike engine in the ARC Camaro singing its way down Conrad Straight. So we may have to do a historic version of our Bathurst time trial challenge where we only use historic cars. We'll have to do that and see which is the quickest of the historics. You see the big difference with the pit complex as well, how much that's come on. There's an awful lot more going on. You obviously got the cars on the left hand side, but that all used to be fields. I remember when that used to be fields. You got more houses on the right hand side. Obviously I mentioned we've got more foliage and shrubbery and things all around the place. There's another new building that's gone up on the left there. There goes the neighbourhood. Right, into the mountain bend. There's even a house on the right hand side there as well. There's the bank that we could have gone up, but no longer. Over a crest there. Not so much of an issue with this car. It doesn't burst into wheel spin as we go over that little rise in the road. Down towards the grate, which we can now use more of on the right side. Feel perhaps a little bit wider as well. No, that's just because the ARC Camaros are so small, but maybe it does feel a little bit wider. Just love it. Just chuck it in there. It's so fun. Big handful of opposite lock on the way out. It's pretty fancy gates there. More houses on the left hand side as well. Farm has changed over the years. They've gotten rid of the windmill. Still have their water tank out the side there though. And then of course they have this massive hospitality complex at the Chase. Obviously this section of the track was installed for safety purposes to slow cars down because approaching the final bend in the 80s would have been quite a terrifying prospect. There we go. So that's the modern Bathurst with the new updated foliage and things. It looks good. Looks really good. I wonder if we'll see that cross over to other circuits as well. I haven't noticed that. Oh, haven't really paid much attention to the trees, to be honest. Most of the time I'm busy wrestling cars around tracks, but I haven't noticed whether they need to update 2D to 3D trees on other circuits. That'll probably come in time if it is the case. But good step forward and looking very nice indeed. Right. Okay. Okay, I reckon we'll give the Formula Inter one more chance and see if we can have a bit more of a race. But now we've turned the AI down slightly. We'll do that race at Classic Bathurst. So we'll run. Yeah, we'll even run it at 99. I'll try anything at this point. Let's do that. Let's go to Bathurst Historic and drive the Formula Inter around there. Yep, see how this goes. We'll do a race on the old Bathurst layout. And with the way the AI were around Guiana earlier, going 3 and 4 wide, what are the chances that someone's going to get launched off the mountain up on the grass banks or something? Yeah, it's probably more likely to be me than the AI, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so what are my thoughts? So before we get into this race, thoughts on the new car. Car's really good. Enjoy that as well. Bathurst, of course, it's Bathurst. You can't really go too far wrong, but it looks really nice and the layout's good and the details are nice. It just has that nice historic feel to it. Very, very good. We know that they do a good job of the historic content in AOS too, so here we go then. Let's see. Can we race the Formula Inter at Bathurst? Let's catch back up from my position. It's a very quick rolling start here. We're already wheel to wheel with someone. Right, here we go. That wasn't too bad through there. Now, of course, we have the run and all the slipstreaming that's going on. Sort yourselves out, ready for mountain bend. These look really good on track, don't they, here? Come on. A bit of diff slippage on the rise out of the elbow there. Or the cutting, shall I say. We are a little bit more with them now, so we might have a chance to race with them. Let's see what it's like through here. Can we be braver than the AI? Or do we just go in over brave? Oh no! The AI turned me. And again. Oh dear. Passenger. Alright, let's try again. This time we'll pay more attention to where the AI are. Hey Turjo, says hit the like. That'd be much appreciated. If you have enjoyed the stream this evening, please do consider hitting the like button. And if you're new here and you've enjoyed seeing what you've seen, please consider subscribing like Supermax had 8 minutes ago. I don't know how I missed that. Sorry, Supermax. Welcome to SimRacing Bible. Good to have you with us. Thank you for subscribing. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, which is incredible, really. So, big thank you to everyone who's hit the subscribe button. Tojo put in the F in chat for that little off. Let's try and not repeat that again. Yeah, so coming down the mountain, the AI are very good on the brakes. So once again, the little disclaimer I mentioned at the beginning of the stream is that this obviously is in release candidate format, so there's a chance that the AI strength could well be adjusted by the time it lands live. Clipping the bank on the inside there of the AI. That's not going to help them. Going to help us though. Where can you go? Now finding all the grassy apexes over the top of the mountain. Nearly found a concrete apex then. Let's just take this nice and easy and protect my position from behind. Difficult to control down through the dip of that one. Okay, we haven't been turned, so that's got to be a positive, right? Even alright. Okay, so once again we drop back from the leaders. They do seem to be very strong. I know I wasn't exactly the quickest down the hill then, but they do seem to be quite well stuck to the road. Look at that battle going on in front of us there, was it? 3-4 wide. On the inters everywhere. Oh, it's brave using the curve. Riding right over the curve on the final corner there. Oh, he pushed me onto the grass. No! Oh, and we're off again. These one thing I can say is it does show that the AI for Formula Inters could well be correct. If they just come out of karting into cars, you can tell. You can tell. There's an aggression there. Okay, let's see. I'm just going to go back because there's one thing I forgot to do earlier on with this car. So let's see if we can change the page on the dashboard and see if we can alter some of the data that's being shown on there. So what I'm going to do, just going to do a test day again here, and we'll load the Formula Inter, the old Bathurst, why not? But before then, I'm going to go to my options and see if there's a control that I need to bind for that. So vehicle. See if I can spot anything on here. No. Assistance. Game. In-car menu up. Car menu management. Okay, well, let's just set some of these on here. Let's do car menu management. We'll set that to that button. Why is that assigned to ignition? Yeah, we can replace that. Menu up, and we'll just do that one. Menu down, we'll do that one. So let's try it this way. Let's go menu up. We'll use the D-pad on the gearbox here. Let's do left and right. In-car menu cycle. That might be another one. Let's do that one to bottom one there. Okay. Let's try that. See if we can get that page to change. So someone says it's the LCD setting. Okay. I've probably missed that, but we'll have to do that in the we'll have to do that in game if we haven't quite got that, but we'll check it. So Skoda's here says, "Good day, all. Good day, Skoda." Dora says, "How big is your monitor?" My monitor is a 27-inch monitor. It's a 27-inch curved. So it says, and it seems a little bit too small sometimes when it comes to sim racing. Yeah, yours is 27 inches. Oh no, mine's okay. It's not too bad because it's quite close to me. So if it was further away, yeah, it would be quite small. But because it's right behind where my wheel is here, it's pretty good, really. I don't feel like I miss out too badly. Okay, here we go then. So let's try our buttons that we did here. So try to remember what we did. So none of those doing anything. Ooh. Well, that's just on the HUD. Okay. You know, I didn't know you could do that. Well, that's interesting. So do you use a... Ah, okay, right, gotcha. That's interesting. Right, so it's not that then. Let's have a look. What else can we add as an assignment on there? Make sure there's no other options which are hidden below that I can't see, no. So, cycle Motec. I'll see that would make sense, wouldn't it? Let's try that. Oh, there we go. Look at that. So, I can't really see that from my wheel, but we just move that to having actual gauge type things for oil pressure and engine temp. We have battery voltage as well. What else we got? Just the 2 pages. Interesting. So changing through there, it's got a lock button instead of a exclamation warning button. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. So you rev the engine up and you get a bit more oil pressure going through. Hold it steady and you get a steady oil pressure increase. That's really cool. It's got a neat little LCD screen there. You can see there's a satellite button in the bottom, so we're connected to 2 satellites currently for our GPS for our lap time, or is it speed, I think it is. Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's quite a nice looking dash as well, really. Awesome. Right, well, while we're here, and we haven't got any other crazy AI drivers on our case, let's take this out for a spin. Watch our oil pressure as we drive. It is a very satisfying car to drive with the H pattern. Although the mountain will sap some of its 170 horsepower, especially as we turn right here now. Okay, it's not going too badly up the hill. It's definitely that coming down the other side which is tricky. Obviously, the car can take quite a bit of corner speed through some of these bends, and when you get down to the likes of the dipper, you're carrying quite a bit of corner speed, and then you end up taking off, so you have no control because you just aren't actually touching the tarmac, so you end up floating off towards the wall on the right hand side. Let's try this again. So it's quite a handful trying to go through the dipper with this thing. What I do love is it's quite an aggressive sound when you first engage the gear. It's the 3rd gear, it's more noticeable, but it's quite an aggressive sound when you do that. It sounds good. So our current operating oil pressure is around 3.8 bar. Going up as speed increases, 4 bar. Eyes on the road slightly as well. Yeah, so 4 bar maximum already. That's peak. You almost get distracted by watching that. yeah, pretty good. Not bad at all. I do like that car. It's very good. So Whippy Whip says they changed the TC in the GT3 and other cars. Could you check if TC actually works now? Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. I did mention that in the notes there that they've changed the interruption of TC. So let's see how that works. So let's go grab a GT3 car. Which one should we use? Oh well, we're at Bathurst. We've got to use the GTR. Be rude not to. Let's try it out. See what the TC is like on this thing now. So beforehand, what were you feeling with it, Whippy? Were you feeling it kicking in too much or too little, or what were you thinking about it? It should interfere a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. But then you should have different levels of TC capability. Actually, before we go out on track, let's just check what we got it set on. There's a baseline here. Let's go on 1, which is low value allows more slip. So let's just reset to default because I think I changed that. Yeah, so 6 is the default, so we'll run with that. Alright. Avoid the speed bumps in case we damage the sensitive little GT3. Right, here we go. So it's too little, it never stops anything, even on 10. Okay. So we're on 6 now, so it's just over half of the range. So let's see what happens. Oh boy. That's not helpful. It's not helpful. Spoilt by the stopping distances in the in the Formula Inter, actually, to be honest. I'm speeding a bit late, but let's go out. So Sonic says changing the levels had no effect, but I could notice, you said. Okay. Yeah, so driving this with Gareth the other month, we were driving this and he was finding it very oversteery on the exit of slow corners. Still doing it there. Let's check it out of here. Okay, so that's still very much. I didn't just set a control for TC here. Oh, maybe I have got it. I set it to one of my rotators on my wheelbase here. There we go. So up to 10. So this in theory should be absolute maximum TC. Try out of here. Okay, that cut in. I definitely had a little bit of an impact there because I absolutely floored the throttle coming out of the elbow there. And although it did slide, the TC kind of kicked in on the rest of that slide a little bit. Let's try it out of this next corner as well. Yeah, so it's definitely doing something there. It's a lot tamer coming off the slow corners. So precisely changing the levels of their effect. Whippy said, I don't think TC works in this game, not well anyway. Well, let's give it another lap here and just see. Let's go down way too many gears for what I should do. There's no complaints there. This is the real test. I was able to keep it flat over the little bump there. That's just not flat out. Okay, let's just turn that down to 8. You can still get a good slide out of that corner. Let's see if 9 is any better. Hey Melbourne, welcome. It says Ace-Tech versus Hodenveld Sprints. What do you think? That's a good question. Now, I've had obviously a good opportunity to test these Ace-Tech Invictus for some time now, and I think they're really, really good. I'm really impressed with them. Hosenbelts are very good as well. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think, for me, it depends on if you want a really solid brake feel, or maybe something with a bit more movement. Because the Sprints, although you can turn them right up and have a really strong brake pedal on them, they still move quite a bit. I mean, aesthetics-wise, I prefer the Ace-Techs. They look really, really smart and really nice. I mean, there's no doubt that the two of them perform really well. You, in my opinion, you wouldn't be sad with either, to be honest. Yeah, TC9 feels like it's allowing a little bit more slip and not holding you back quite as much. But yeah, just to finish point on the pedals there for Melbourne. Yeah, I really think they're both very, very good pedals. I know it's very much an on-the-fence type thing, but I really like my Ace-Tech Invicta pedals. I think they're brilliant. There's a good level of adjustability in them, and the feel of the brake pedal is very, very impressive. It's just like pushing against a wall. It's so, so strong. But there's a caveat there. If you probably want to change, if you're running the Invictus, you might want to change the pedal pads, the Forte ones, if you want to run with socks, because the Invicta pedal pads are quite sharp. But if you run with boots, anyway, it's fine. Oops. Reverting back to old line to the chase, which isn't there. That was just a pure mad feel, just to try and see if we can get the back end to complain through there. I think it is better. I think the TC is doing something. I know it's set really high at 9 out of 10. So if you want to dial in a bit more TC to drive on the GT3 cars, you can do, and it does keep the rear end in check a little bit better. You don't really get any kind of audible hearing. I couldn't really hear much to say that the TC was kicking in, other than the revs just not advancing like you would expect them to if you're sliding or trying to get the power down. But other than that, it seems to be working okay. So Whippy Whip says, I think the heel rest would annoy me on the Ace-Techs. It's too far away from the pedals, it looks like to me. So yeah, so as you can see here, they've got the heel rest down here. It actually, when you've got them set up, I've had to angle my pedal tray, quiet in the GTR down, I've had to angle my pedal tray up a little bit When I had them completely flat, my foot would sometimes get stuck behind the lip. So it kind of gets stuck in between here like that, because I was so used to having my foot so completely vertical. But now that I've had it sat on here, I'm used to having my heel pressed into that little lip on the bottom and then just rotating my foot forward and backwards. And because of the angle of the pedal tray being a little bit more further up at the back, I no longer slip up the heel rest as much. I used to ride up it, especially on the brake, and end up riding up and then have to physically bring my foot back down again to put it in the right place. But with the right angle, it's not a problem. It's all good. It's more of a natural feel to me now, which is good. So there we go. So the TC in GT3s at least is having an effect on your driving. It does mean that you have to have it turned up quite a lot in order to feel that effect, but it's there and it works quite well. Whether that's the same for the likes of GTE and the other ones which have TCs which have been updated, it'll be all down to testing and seeing what setting you prefer and what works best for you. But yeah, so there we go. So that's the content pretty much, guys. That's what we've got to play with on the release candidate. I hope you've enjoyed watching along with me and experiencing that for the first time along with me. If you have, feel free to let me know your thoughts on the comments and what your favorite part of the new updates are and what you think of the new single seater, what you think of Bathurst 83, any other little changes which you've picked up on which you like or dislike. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I think that's good. I mean, like I said at the beginning, testing that Formula Inter, I'm not really a single-seater person, but that was really fun to drive. I know the AI absolutely kicked me to death on that one. It was both brutal, aggressive, and rather quick in the corners. But I guess if you turn down the strength, it's not so bad. But yeah, good fun, and Bathurst, of course, is absolutely brilliant. So I'm sure many people will have a lot of fun driving that particular version of Bathurst, and yeah, it should be good. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me once again this evening. Thank you for your company. It's been a pleasure as always. We look forward to seeing you very, very soon. I will be putting out a video hopefully soon. I have something else to do with AMS2, which I shall be trying to put together. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you again for your company. Thank you for those who subscribed this evening, for liking the video, for donating. You guys are all absolutely amazing. But that's us for this evening, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much once again, and we will see you live next Saturday for some more sim racing action. But until then, bye for now.